In the world of flight simulators, there is a clear disconnect between the accuracy and realism of land planes and that of seaplanes. One might suspect there isn't much to float flying, but even one with a basic float rating should be able to see the clear differences. And for me, being a seaplane pilot by profession, the lack of realism is to the point of a loss of immersion. This video is a companion to a forum post I made on the IL-2 Thermovic, the new IL-2 Thermovic forum. The link will be posted in the description below. It's meant to highlight the main areas I feel like we could improve on the Rise of Flight model for Battle of Stalingrad in order to make the game more immersive, such as Rise of Flight in this moment with the windsock straight out, and I can see clear reflections. I'm not sailing backwards, and there's no waves. But let's take it right back to the beginning, from the start. Idle taxi turn authority. For an aircraft with no rudders, I can sure whip it around well. The video on the left is a pretty calm wind. The first video was very calm, second video is a little bit more, but you can see there's a delay. It's not that maneuverable, especially without water rudders. So in this clip on the left, I believe I'm doing a 360 to the right in the float plane with water rudders down. And in Rise of Flight, I'm just doing donuts, having fun. And once again, there's no water rudders on the plane in the right, and there is water rudders on the plane on the left. And no raising the water rudders would not help me. It's just going to make me weather vane right into wind. I guess I'm playing a bit on the step on the right side, or trying plow taxi. I'm not too sure what I'm doing there, but I'm letting the video roll so you can get an idea of the time turn. Okay, this video here on the left it shows my student trying to turn around in strong winds. We land, we put the water rudders down every time, and he couldn't make that turn to the left. So now he's going to try it to the right. And you can see the winds aren't all that strong. There's white caps, so that usually means it's above 10 knots, but it also depends on the fetch, how far away from the upwind shoreline the waves are. You know, it takes time for the waves to build. Look at the spray coming off the floats too. I'll talk a bit more about that later, but you can see my student is having trouble turning. You can try to overcome the weathervaning tendency by adding power and keeping stick back, because that'll raise the nose up, shift the center of buoyancy back, and you pivot around the center of buoyancy. So if you shift that back, more surface area ahead of the pivot point, the wind is going to it's going to negate the weathervaning tendency. You can see my student didn't make it around there, so the next thing to do would be to sail backwards. And I'm not going to go over sailing in this video. That's not part of the scope of this. In the forum post, you should be able to see some diagrams of sailing, and there's plenty of free manuals and videos that FAA put out and are on YouTube you can check out. So I hopped in Battle of Kuban 2.012. Notice the wind drift. I'm being pushed to the right, and the white caps are moving in the right direction. Super exciting, because there's no windsocks out in the middle of nowhere, and to judge landing direction you use the waves or smoke or whatever. And notice the water surface is different between the two bodies of water there, which is really exciting. And water surface feels good. I'll skip off the surface right here. Felt pretty good. I talk a bit more about the wave water surface on the post. I'm not really going to dig into it too much here, but I just like to showcase some of the Kuban updates and how nice it looks. Notice every time the boat hits the crest, there's spray. I'm hoping that spray will go into the prop and you'll see the droplets on the window like Rise of Flight, but yeah, I get my hopes up. I get too excited. So now I'm going to show you the takeoff. because I found that the plow attitude was not as pronounced as real life, and once you get on step, the nose dips kind of low in Rise of Flight, where you can see here on step, I kind of hold the nose at the horizon for takeoff, and I never let the nose really come down past to the horizon. You know, the nose goes up twice, and then settling on step, I bring it down to the position I like and hold it there. But in Rise of Flight, when you get on step, the nose kind of dips down and comes back up to the position you like. Maybe nitpicky, but it feels really weird in Rise of Flight. And a few other things about plow is you come off the step quite a bit faster in Rise of Flight at a higher speed. It's really about 10 knots or less when you come off the step into buoyancy mode in a float plane. And step attitude, in the real plane, when you put the nose forward like that, the plane decelerates, or it stops accelerating. And if you pull back on the step and dig the afterbodies of the float in, it'll slow you down. I mean, the horsepower of some of those old planes, the power to weight, you could probably get off the water with a stick back. Anyway, spray, that clipped there, you could just see the spray get pulled into the prop there. I'd like to see that cause damage in Rise of Flight. If you're coming through the plow and chop and doing a long taxi, I want to be able to chew through a prop in time, because that's really what will happen in real life, is they'll eat at your props. I don't have a picture. I've been looking for one, but nothing yet. So in this clip, I'm playing on the step, pushing nose forward, pulling nose back, because I found it was very hard to find the sweet spot in Rise of Flight, where you get the point of best acceleration. Any more nose forward than that, you should not accelerate as well, and any far nose aft, you start to dig the afterbodies of the floats in, and it slows you down. Now, the World War II planes might have the horsepower and power to weight, I should say, to get off the water despite, stick back like that, but you can see in the Cessna it just sort of porpoised and didn't work too well. And once again, coming off the step, I seem to come off quite a bit early. And one last thing about step before I forget, that when you go nose forward on the step, the center of pressure is ahead of the center of gravity, and you can risk a water loop. Okay, so in this video's power off 90, I found I flipped over a lot in the beginning in Rise of Flight, and it was maybe too sensitive to flipping forward. But I'm not too sure. I think I've decided that it's okay, because in these power offs I managed okay after going out and practicing in real life. It worked out. You can see that I touched down first in Rise of Flight, which is the way it should be, because the biplane with the extra wing and the guide wire should have more drag. And plus I stopped the prop in Rise of Flight and kept it idling in real life. So that's about it. I think I've covered pretty well everything. Of course, there's a text description in the forum post about all this. This is meant to aid that and give you a visual representation. This video isn't meant to be the focal point itself in terms of the May points. I'm sure it's better articulated in text. But the visual aspect of it I thought was maybe a good idea. A lot of work, but I had fun doing it. I do this for a living, so. Okay, you can see here the asymmetric yaw due to the downgoing aileron. Makes the nose swing quite a bit in the Cessna. I felt maybe it should be a little more pronounced in the float plane, but little things like that you don't even notice when you're fighting. The point of the game isn't a seaplane simulator, but most of these things should help the immersion level equal that of a land plane. And that's all I'm trying to get at here. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. Bleh. Thanks.